When Ami, Okote, Okero, the blood flowed towards the north. We are still dealing with the effects. I can tell you, as sure as day follows night and night follows day, if there is violent change, bloodshed will flow to the west.
The Justice Minister, Norbert MAO, has continued to fire salvos towards General Kaguta Museveni and his son MUHOOZI Kainerugaba for initiating something which is going to be a tragedy during transition. He came out to say that in many of the cases when the transition is taking place, the community where the president comes from suffers the most. And indeed, if you look at history, normally the community that houses the presidency in different African countries and different countries shoulders the burden, most especially when the regime has always been bad. We've read history, I was not here, that every time Uganda has gotten a transition through these coups, the community where the president comes from shoulders the burden. And Norbert MAO continued to echo these statements. Okay, we all know that Norbert MAO is conflicted. He was from the opposition. He's serving in cabinet. He's not sure that he will be in the cabinet in the near future after this tenure. So he's trying to separate himself from the ills of the government, but also as he tries to build his political clout. So some of the statements is not coming out directly. It's only the wise minds who can read him. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the statements which were made by Norbert MAO, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So, Norbert now right now is in UNA. He came out to talk about transition in Uganda. By the way, one of our biggest problems as a country has always been transition. We've never realized this since independence. It has always been at the center of civil wars in this country. And if you don't come out to rectify this mess, it's going to be a cycle. All signs point to a civil war in this country, because after 40 years, General Museveni has failed to build institutions which can lead us to a peaceful transfer of power. He's hell-bent to bring his son, MUHOOZI Kainerugaba, to power, who's not even 10% of him. Because General Museveni is a dictator. He has led us wrongly. But his son is worse. That if General Museveni, General MUHOOZI in the most unlikely events becomes president, even the small things we had gained are going to go in oblivion. So, when Norbert MAO was addressing Ugandans in UNA, he said these statements which I would want to talk about. But before I talk about it, I want to play you these statements as he was talking to Ugandans. Here's the tape.
When Ami, Okote, Okero, the blood flowed towards the north. We are still dealing with the effects. I can tell you, as sure as day follows night and night follows day, if there is violent change, bloodshed will flow to the west. My mother's people will be there. Our intention is to break that cycle of violence. And we must do something we have never done before. Because those who are saying we should do what they have been trying to do before, I wish them luck. But they can't prove that my proposal can't work. So, why does bloodshed flow in the direction of the departing president in case there is violence? Because all the ills of a government brings stigma on a particular community. When Amin was in power, all the ills of the government was westernized. When Okello was in power, maybe even Ogote, every ill was Acholinized. Now everything is Nyankolinized. There's no tribe which has only good people. There's no tribe which has only bad people. We produce Joseph Kony, but for God's sake, we also produce Janet and Luwuma. So I really don't care who goes to sleep and snore in State House. I have that ambition. I've not given up my ambition. But it's not a matter of life and death for me. What is a matter of life and death is to break this vicious cycle of violent change. And you can see what DP did was to create a vent because Uganda was becoming a pressure cooker. So we have created a very tiny vent and the steam is getting out. And those who want an explosion are annoyed with us because the explosion is not going to happen. And we expect that you people will also help to create more vents to remove.
So that is Norbert Mao. In fact, I will start with what Norbert Mao ended with. He's coming out to say that DP's cooperation with NRM created a vent. But trust me, there is no vent DP created. It was just an organized scheme by General Kaguta Museveni to weaken the opposition. That's a matter of fact. In fact, if it was a vent, what ought to have been done is bringing each and every force, opposition and government, create a new constitution and chart a new way. But taking DP alone, it was like taking UPC through Akena's wife. So there is no vent it's created. But Norbert Mao had a point. Normally, whenever there is violent change in the country, even the president runs in his community for protection. And if other people are pursuing him, they will have to pursue a community. Even when Gaddafi weakened, he had to run to his home area in Sirte. This is where he died from. It is normal. Okay? So, the truth of the matter is Uganda needs a transition. Uganda needs to transit. And what makes even matters more worse is we are under dictatorship. What Norbert Mao is doing, painting a picture that is there to help in government. You cannot help when you are alone. It was just a conflict of interest. That's why when Norbert Mao was negotiating to work with the NRM in the DP agreement, he came out to say that DP must get a cabinet position. And that cabinet position should be Norbert Mao. He first negotiated for himself. Okay? But nevertheless, there is a point of transiting. The day Uganda will solve the puzzle of transition is the day we shall have solved almost 50% of our problems politically. Because transition has always been a big question in our politics. Because if you solve transition, rest be assured that you will even get the proper way how to people should be governed, either devolution or federalism. And we see how we can coexist in the country. Other than that, we are going to have a cycle of civil wars. And remember, a country which has had very many coups in the past is also more likely to get another coup. It's the reason as why Sudan, which had the most coups, is right now they're already fighting. Is slide back. Very many countries which have had very many coups, it's easier to get back to a coup because they have not yet built a culture of transition. In fact, countries which normally get the first transition, the second, the third, have even more chances to transit more. It pains me that we are at a trajectory where I foresee a civil war in a country, I foresee another coup, and people will be fighting with each other. Us in Kampala will have to run away. Remember, this is our own country. These things I'm talking about look like as if they are very far. But we are in the center stage where Zimbabwe is. We are in the center stage where Sudan is. We are in the center stage where failed states were at some point. It's the truth. But all that starts with a leader who thinks that he can lead the country for 1,000 years, which is impossible? Who thinks that is entitled, his family is entitled to lead the nation? That's where the problem is. Sometimes I sit down and say, maybe God forgot us. I wish Mandela was the president. Where did those countries get such people who could charter the way for a country and build institutions that solve such problems? Here in Uganda, General Museveni came as a revolutionary. Is going to go as one of the people who messed up our country. You can take that to the bank. Of course, that's my opinion. Remake comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is the first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.